It's a pretty big difference, right? Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to be installing that MAXXIS MAXXCROSS IT 110 by 100 18 rear MX tire that wouldn't fit that TALARIA KOMODO because the tire clearance is so small between the front of the tire and the swing arm on that bike. I'm going to install it on my 2025 SURRON ULTRA BE because that thing has a ton of room. I think you could fit a 120 or maybe even a 130 tire on that bike, no problem. And I've really gotten used to those Maxxcross tires on that Komodo riding at the track the last month. And I want to give that same kind of grip on my Ultra Bee. So that's what we're going to do today. I'm going to pull that IRC 100/100 enduro tire off the bike, get the tube out, get it in this Maxxcross tire with a rim lock on the rim. I'll balance the rear wheel, get it installed, and then we'll take it to the MX track and see how it does. Let's get right into it. So to take this rear wheel off, it's super easy. I can just use my 27mm socket on my reversible torque wrench, and I can leave the rear caliper right on the bracket, and I won't unlink the chain for now. I can just drop it when I pull the tire out. The torque rating for this axle nut is pretty high, so it can be helpful to use a ratchet with a longer handle. Now I'll just slide this out. Hold the wheel, and as I drop the wheel, I can just drop the chain just like this, just on the side of the sprocket. Let's get this over to the bench. Put it rotor side down first. So I'm just going to push the rim lock so it's more deep in the tire, and that way I can get the bead off. And I'll just work that around like this. Make sure it's completely off. Looks like it's off. Let's flip it. Using this valve stem core puller really helps to get the air out of the tire quick. I suggest to use one of those whenever you do a tire change. So now what I need to do is I need to get this bead up off the rim so I can get the inner tube out. So let me grab my bead buddy and rim shields and my Motion Pro spoons. These things are awesome. If you get these, be sure to sand down the inside a little bit, make them really nice and smooth. They'll be way easier to use, and it makes them a little bit easier to get them in and out. Let's start just to the right of here. And on the other side of the rim, I want to get the tire down off the bead over here. And we'll let this come off a lot easier. I'll come back around this way. And there we go. Just pull the rest off by hand. Get the tube out first. Just set that aside for now. And now I need to get the other bead off the rim. So let's remove the tire from this side first. And it'll be a lot easier to get around the rim lock. So I'm gonna leave the rim lock and the rim strap on the rim for now. No point to remove it. Let's compare these two tires. This 100/100 IRC tire looks small compared to the MAXXIS 110, doesn't it? Not only is it knobbier, but it's wider, and also the overall diameter is bigger. It's a pretty big difference, right? That IRC tire that I just took off was directional, which means it can only rotate in one direction for both the front and the back. But this MAXXCROSS IT is bidirectional, and that basically means the direction doesn't matter. Let's just set it here for a sec. I'm gonna put some tire lube around the inside bead. Now you don't wanna put it here because it'll cause the tire to slip later on. You just really want it on this inside. And I use Nomar tire lube. It's really, really good. I'll flip it down. So I'll definitely start away from the rim lock. And that's really where I wanna finish, is right at the rim lock. So I can work the tire around this way. All right. Now I'm gonna flip it, and I need to get it over the rim lock, which is, and I can do that by just putting my guard here, bringing it up, give the rim lock a couple of taps, make sure it's underneath the bead, bring this up, get the rim lock down, let the tire down, and there. Now before I powder this tube and put it back in the tire, I'm gonna put this valve stem core back in and put just a little bit of air in there. I wanna make sure that this tube is okay and doesn't have any damage. I think we're okay. So took some air out of here, about that much, and let's put this back. I think this tube is probably okay. Seems like it was already powdered up. So let's find where the valve stem hole is, right here. Make sure it's not blocked by the rim tape. If the tube isn't powdered, it's really hard to slide it in the tire like that. The last thing to do is to get this last bead down inside the rim and also between the rim lock and the rim. The bottom's already there. I probably want to finish at the rim lock. So I will start just to the right of the rim lock and work my way around. And then I'm just gonna put this nut on, but not all the way. Just enough so it can't fall back in the rim. So I'll start here and just push the underside down into the rim so the bead isn't on the rim. And you see that gets this farther away, so it's really easy to pop it down to get it started. And start to work my way around this way. And now before I do that, I'm gonna put some tire dressing on the inside bead again. I'll push the tube down into the tire a bit and then get the bead down underneath so I can easily get this over. Get this thing started right here. And I'll do one more spoon over here. Now I can hold these two spoons here like this, take these out, and I'm gonna put my bead buddy right here. Be super careful when I'm going by the tube not to pinch anything. It's gonna get harder and harder as we get closer to here to make sure that the bottom side is not on the bead. I don't want to take too big a bite. Almost there. Just one more. And that's usually gonna be the hardest one for sure. Not done yet. I need to make sure that this rim lock gets down underneath the bead. I can remove my bead buddy. And now I need to get the tire up off the rim lock, and then I can just give it a little whack like that. Gently let it back down. There we go. I really need to make sure that it's not pinching the tube anywhere. Just snug it up just a little bit. Just to kind of keep it out of the way. Now I need to check the tire. Make sure I'm not pinched anywhere. Usually if I pinch anywhere, it's near the valve stem, but this looks pretty good. I'll just tighten this until maybe it's snug. Not too much. I want to put air in it first. So it looks like 32 PSI is the max. I'll give it around 32 to 35 maybe. See if I can get the bead to pop. There we go. And you can see the valve stem came all the way out. So now I can snug it up. So far so good. I don't hear any air. I think we're good. I need to double check. Make sure the tube's not pinched anywhere. It's fully on the bead. Ooh, this looks good. Before I snug up this valve stem, I'm gonna put this rubber grommet back on. It's like gives a little bit of flex to the valve stem so it doesn't rip. These wheels came with this and I'm gonna use it again. It's good for sealing out the moisture. And this nut actually goes up against that and forms like a good seal. And for over here, I'm just gonna crank this rim lock down, get it as tight as I can. I don't want this tire slipping. So since I don't hear any air coming out, I think I'm good. I know this thing's not leaking. I'm gonna lower the air pressure back to about 12 to 15, which is pretty much what I run. I think that'll work. If it's harsh, I can always lower it later. So my guess is that the heavy spot is right where this rim lock is. And it kind of looks like that's the case. I'm just gonna mark the heavy spot with this tape. Looks like it's just to the right of the rim lock. I'm gonna wanna start adding weight here and just see what that gets me. I think that'll do it. Let me just snug these up a little bit so they don't fall when I spin the wheel. So I'm gonna put some Loctite on these so they can't come flying off, because that will happen sometimes. Those screws will come loose. And also you wanna make sure that you crank these bolts down on the nipple, not on the actual spoke, because you'll get a better clamp there and it will stay, especially if you use Loctite. All right, so one last test. See if this thing's balanced. Pretty good. I'm okay with this. All right, let's get this wheel on. Just gently get it into the rotor. Make sure your spacers are right where they're supposed to be. It's actually pretty easy to get the axle back in. Wheel fits perfect. No rubbing on the chain. I'm stoked. The torque spec on this rear wheel is 130 Nm, which is really high. I think that's gonna be enough. Yo, come check this out. I was messing around on Google Earth today, and I saw something really interesting, man. Look at this. Right near our motocross track. Man, you see the van? Yeah. That's funny. They must have took that recently. But this is the interesting thing. There's some strange buildings here. Look at this one. It looks like it was covered up with dirt and grass. You try to hide it, doesn't it? Yeah. What is that? And then this one. But when I check, it says there's nothing here. That's the strange part. And the best part is, look at these trails. There's a bunch of trails right on the north coast here, alongside the ocean. I think when we go to the track today to test that rear tire, we got to check this place out. I can give you guys some swing arm dimension limits for both bikes so that you can get a better idea of the rear tire sizes that are possible. On the Ultra Bee, I would not exceed 132 millimeter max tire width, as the chain clearance will become an issue. But with the sprocket offset on the rear wheel, 135 millimeter tire width is possible. And about 690 millimeter max overall tire diameter is also possible with the same axle position on the frame. On the Komodo, I would stay under 130 millimeter max tire width and about 673 millimeter max overall tire diameter without having to move the axle back. About to take these bikes over to that area that I saw on Google Earth today. Strange looking place, and I think it looks like it'd be a pretty good area to test this new 110 MAXXIS tire. This thing looks sick. It completely fills the swing arm now. Before, there was a huge gap from that IRC 100 enduro tire. Just clears the chain. So if you have an Ultra Bee, you want to put a good MX tire, check out the MAXXIS MAXXCROSS IT 110, 100, 18. Perfect fit on the Ultra Bee. Maybe I'll try a 120/90, like a 120/90 18. But for right now, this 110/100 is perfect. Let's go see how it does. Looks like there's some really good stuff to ride over there. Coming through here sucks because it's got this really tight ass road. And driving that van through here is sometimes can be hairy when there's a lot of cars. There's usually not too much traffic coming through here in this area, but it's just one lane road for this whole neighborhood. So sometimes we have to back the van all the way out when we get in this one spot over here. Super nice day. It's just all farmland around here. I just need to ride up the road here, I think, for a little bit. I think this is it, dude. You think it's a jail? I don't know. Let's go this way. I think it's back here. What is this place, man? What's with this metal wall? I've never seen that on one of these trails. I see the ocean. What the? This is like a cliff. What? Dude, this place has barbed wire, man. Yeah, right? And there's like a housing facility there. Do you see it? Maybe it's military, dude. We got to figure out a way down there. What the hell is this, dude? Doesn't this look like a delivery area or something for a prison? What do you mean it's not in the map?
There's nothing on the Google map.
Come on.
Yeah. There's nothing here.
Just nothing.
Yeah.
Dude, there's a building here, man. Well, there's a building here for sure. I'm looking at it. Well, I'm glad I put this back tire on, man. This is some sandy. It's basically a beach. Wow, this looks sick. There might be some good spots to ride over there. I see some pretty good terrain. Maybe for sure can make some jumps. Need to figure out a way to get over there. Oh yeah, that's for sure military. See, no, you see the guy? I saw him get on his radio. This is all the base?
Yeah, this is all the base.
Look at all that red dirt, man. This place is super rich with red dirt, this whole area of Taiwan. And it's actually pretty good for building jumps. It's really durable. Oh yeah, this is it. It's not so bad where it's a little bit wet. It's more firm. I just want to see where this goes. It's like somebody came through here on a quad. That's the place I'm looking for right there. I saw all of that from the cliff. See all the berms? He's really hating me right now. He's struggling in the sand. He'll be all right. And this water's coming up higher and higher. Damn, I hope we don't get stuck over here. Oh no, maybe we can't get across. Can I get across? The water's already coming in too far. You want to try first? Just go slow, you'll be fine. Oh man, think over there. If we go up high, there's actually a really short area where you can go across. You might get stuck. Like what if the bike goes down there and then literally just gets stuck? Nice. I think I found it. It's all sand. I was hoping this would be dirt. That was kind of a bust. I was hoping there'd be some cool trails over there to ride. Instead, it's just mostly a sandy beach. They probably use that area for training. So I think I'm just gonna go back to the track and maybe put some laps in before the sun goes down. And let's see how this tire does there. He didn't come back. I think I can text him and let him know I'm back here. He has his phone. Wow, this tire really makes the bike feel different. It's not so harsh in the back. It's that IRC 100. And it's got way more grip. I was ripping in the sand earlier. But man, I'm super happy I put this tire on. Gonna be on this bike for a while at the track, I think. Bike feels just a little bit more balanced now in the air. There was a notable difference between the two tires in weight. So I think probably the balance of the bike is really perfect right now. When I put the 1821 flow wheels on, I noticed that the front end seemed to get a little bit more heavy than when the 19 was on there, of course. There's more tire and more wheel. But I felt like the back end didn't really change because the back end originally had 100 by 18. So I didn't really change much on that. I only replaced it with the IRC tire. Maybe a little more knobby than the stock one. So the biggest change came in the front. But now that I put this beefier tire on the back, I really felt it on the jumps today, man. This thing feels exactly how I want the bike to feel. I want to go at the jump like full speed and not have to worry about when I hit the jump, how it's gonna send me, you know? I just want it to be really consistent every time as long as my body position is in the right place. And I want to feel confident when I'm going up the jump to get ready to just lean forward in the air and get over the bars, you know? I felt something different on this bike that I didn't feel before with this tire. Sometimes just a little difference in a tire size can make a huge difference in the ride, I guess. So I guess that's gonna do it for today's video. See you guys in the next one. Peace.